Two TV notes. One, NBC has announced they will be sending no sports reporters to Beijing to cover the Winter Olympics.
Is that right?
Yeah, except Mike Tirico, who'll be there for the opening ceremonies. That's February 4th, but he'll be back in time to host their pregame show for the Super Bowl, February 13th.
No need to rush him back.
Now, if what I've heard about China is accurate, he may be already there, quarantining in a hotel, because you can't just waltz into trying to get off a plane and go to work.
Yeah, that's right.
And you've got to quarantine.
I don't recall if he was...
He some of the last weekend games?
He must have been, because that would have been the, 15th, 16th, something like that. And the games are starting February 3rd. So he'll have to be there then. Maybe. I don't watch those pre-games that much.
Yeah, I don't either. Now, when you say sports reporters, I know the Today Show generally sends everybody over there. Will they be able to go?
I don't know. That's a good question. I read the article that said...
Clearly, they're not there to broadcast, but they tell the stories the next day.
That's right. And NBC said they would have... this was the quote from them. They said they would have no sports reporters there, but they did stress sports. So maybe the Today Show will be there.
They'll get to go.
They will not be there. An executive said we will still have a large presence on the ground in Beijing, and our coverage will be everything at first-rate level as usual. But our plans are evolving every day, as they are for most media companies covering this Olympics.
And I think that I read maybe a few weeks back that every single event will be streamable.
That's probably true.
Which is staggering.
Or on Peacock. That is Peacock.
But I like the Winter Olympics I was going to watch.
Yeah, they're great visuals.
So, but it's just going to be the announcers then?
No, they're not going to be there. The announcers will be in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
Calling the sport.
You can't ski in Connecticut.
Right.
Boy, that'd have been good in China.
No, you won't know. I don't think you'll notice.
I bet you don't.
No,
really.
You wouldn't.
I think I'd notice.
Oh, I did. When they were calling those basketball games from home last year, I didn't know it.
You won't know it.
I don't believe you will either. At first, they'll probably show you they're in Connecticut. Then you come in halfway through a skiing event.
I want him to make it feel like he's in China.
I get it, but here's a fun fact. Chris Kelly, your favorite basketball team is the Tar Heels.
That's right.
They had a game Saturday against Georgia Tech.
That's right.
The announcers weren't there. I know some people who were at the game. The announcers were not there.
Last year,
they were what they call a remote location.
I'm telling you, last year there were many games I watched, and whoever were called, the announcers weren't even in the same place. They'd be at home calling these games, and I mean, there's something to being at the place, but I did not notice. I didn't notice till halftime till they cut to them, and it's like, oh, they're not there.
There's so many basketball games that if you lose one play-by-play and color analyst, that you've got nobody to fill them in. There's nobody to go to. There's no bench.
So you're saying they have to do it from home, or they
run the risk of somebody catching COVID and not going to the game and getting.
Kelly will get a start.
What's that, Biggie?
I'll get my start.
Weasel his way in on some sick.
Working from your house. I'll work from home.
I would do.
Somebody will be out with COVID, and they'll be like, "Well, let's go down the list." Who is Chris Kelly? It says he has broadcasting experience.
All right.
He went to a broadcast camp in Orlando?
Yes, I did.
No, it's pretty
Daytona
close.
Beach.
Daytona.
Pretty close to the bottom of the list.
It says here he was taught by Dan Patrick. Oh, wait.
He didn't show.
No.
He skipped out.
DNS did not show.
I'm still mad about that.
Scheduled to appear.
Daytona Beach, 1994.
You should have got some money back on that.
You're
or your
darn
parents
right
or whoever
I
paid for it.
I went to the head of the camp, Larry, and I said, Larry.
No last name?
Larry Dunlap. And I said, Larry, I don't mean to say anything, but I paid $600 to come down here for 3 days, and I've got
to the Dunlap School of Broadcasting.
It's nice. I said, it's nice, but I don't think I would have come. The real selling point was Dan Patrick's going to be here, and you get a Q&A with Dan Patrick for an hour. And he said, I'm sorry, Chris, but we used your tuition to pay for all this.
Yeah, you already paid your traveler's check.
That's right.
You're kind of young, but it's a pyramid scheme, son.
Yeah. Dan Patrick was never going to do this.
That made me so mad. He came in the day before Dan Patrick.
Did you speak for all the campers? Was there an uprising, if you will?
There was. They came to me.
How many people total were there?
I'm going to say about 25.
Oh.
One woman.
Oh. Where did she stay?
Poor thing.
She paid $900.
They have to put her at the hotel across the street.
No, we stayed in the dorms at the Daytona Beach Community College.
DCC?
And let me say this. You definitely were not supposed to be there.
Oh, we were doing DCC.
Is it DBCCCCC?
Now
Which
listen,
one of you's the
campers.
lightest? The woman, she'll sheeny through the window. You come around and open the front door. Now you guys pick a bunk.
She went on and on about.
Remember, lights off at 6.
At night?
I'll tell you.
Look, the sun doesn't go down for a while.
Her name is Hannah Storm.
Right. They all. I remember 2 things about that camp was so beneficial. But the 3 things I remember: 1, when he came in and said, "Guys, I just have to break it to you, our keynote speaker, Dan Patrick, is not going to make it," and we all just was like, "Oh!" And I was elected by the group to go talk to Larry about getting our money back, or at least a portion of it, because that was the selling point. They had Dan Patrick all over the flyers and everything.
Yeah.
And he didn't show up. He's like, scheduling conflict. It's like, he just sits up there at Sports Center. He's not really doing it. He doesn't cover the games, But he couldn't make it. And Larry said, "No, sorry. We used all your tuition to pay for the room and board, the food."
Emergency
How was the food?
It was the DCCCCC cafeteria.
We've been seeing you eat, young man.
So
you've used all your
that's all
tuition.
it was. Just went to the cafeteria over at DBCCCCC. And that's all there was to it.
I'm sorry, Chris. You can't ask bookies for a refund.
Secondly.
No, they break legs.
I told them I'd have their money by Tuesday, and I did.
Today's Wednesday.
But I have no money left.
Man, that
So
hurt.
did you bring like a blazer and a necktie to do
Yeah, stand-ups.
and make yourself a video cassette
Yeah, we did. We had a video cassette.
at the end?
It's really coming back to me now. Yeah, we did.
You didn't put it through the magnetic screener at the airport and erase it.
I did.
Big old 3/4-inch tape.
Well, I drove it. I couldn't afford to fly. I drove down to Daytona and in my Cutlass Calais.
Yeah.
And
Was that the crushed red velvet?
the crushed red velvet interior. Yes.
Talk about push and pee.
And I went down, and there was 24 guys and a girl, and she talked constantly about women's basketball and how she called a lot of women's basketball play-by-play. And then we'd go off to eat, and all us guys would be at 4 or 5 tables, and she'd be there by herself over at the other table. And all the guys were like, "Who
How
cares?"
Lord of the Flies of you.
Yeah, really.
And all the guys were like, "Who cares about women's basketball?" We're like, "Oh yeah, women's basketball." And I feel so ashamed of that now, because there she was over
And
there.
you treated her like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
It was Doris Burke.
NBA star.
Star Doris Burke.
Still eats by herself.
And then one night we were all going to go out and party and stuff, but I wanted to see Lion King because it was new to theaters. And I said, "You guys want to go see Lion King?" And I think that was a wrong thing to say to the
No,
guy.
we're going to hit the clubs.
Right.
Yeah, man.
They
We're
did.
going to the first Hooters.
Right, they did. They
Went down to the beach.
They had a really good time. And then one guy who was like the star of it, he was really popular, really, just could tell. Wherever he went, he was really popular. He had his VHS videotape, and I was giving him a ride somewhere, and he left it in my car. But I didn't know. He left it like in the back windshield of the car,
Oh.
So I drove all the way home with it, stopping to eat and all that kind of stuff. And his video
Where'd you stop? McDonald's?
Stopped at, oh no, that's when I discovered Crystal Burger.
Oh.
Good God.
Coming back up through South Carolina?
Jeez, and Georgia and Florida, they had them everywhere.
Wow.
And I was eating those little crystal sliders.
Dan Patrick.
God,
I could have been famous. I could have been something
those crystal
instead of a bum.
those crystal burgers are so good. Worth it for the crystal burgers.
Do you keep up with any of those folks?
Well, the one guy, the really cool guy, called me and said, and he left a message on my machine and said, "I left my videotape in your car."
Don't play it. Because it's definitely not his audition
Especially not
tape.
after the first 6
No.
minutes.
Right, don't play
It's
it.
definitely his sex tape of him and the ladies basketball announcer.
It starts out with him on a microphone. It goes crooked. And then,
Yeah. It was all, I went to the car to get it for him, and it was melted because it was so hot. It was
That Florida sun?
summer in Daytona. You
That's
know?
cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
You want to hang out? Click.
Yeah, I thought maybe we could. And they all went to these cool schools, so they were at colleges like Auburn and Michigan and all these schools.
Like Syracuse, where real broadcasters
yes, where
go.
real broadcasters were.
Missouri, where real broadcasters
Yeah.
go.
And I was not part of that, So
Had you done anything sports-wise
No.
on the air?
no. But Larry said I was really good. Larry was like, "You're going places."
You should come next year.
Yeah.
yeah.
Keith Olbermann will be here.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Do you know any of community colleges in Mobile?